Hello and welcome back to the Holistic Hatha Yoga YouTube channel. Today we're going to do a short series on lowering your low back pain. So I get asked this a lot. I have a lot of friends who are remote workers or people who are at their desks a lot, and everyone's like, how can I help my poor low back? And so myself included. So this is just a short little series to help relieve low back pain and hopefully making you feel better, getting rid of any sciatica, um, any nerve pain, all of the things. So without further ado, this one we will be doing some standing, a little bit of activity, because that's what we need. So we'll start at the top of our mat and or towel or just space wherever we are. Does not matter. We don't need a fancy mat or nothing. So hands in front of us in prayer position. We'll take a big breath up, big breath in, exhale down towards the ground. Inhale halfway up. Exhale, really try to let that low back go as we come down. We're going to plant our hands and come into a plank pose. And from here, we're just going to bring the knees, the chest, and the chin down to the ground and then come up into our cobra here. Inhaling, pulling those shoulders back. And then tuck the toes. Start to come up onto the knees, straighten the legs, and come back into your downward facing dog. So here we want the feet to be hip width apart. We want the legs to be as straight as possible. You can have some bend in those knees. If you want, you can walk out the dog or just alternate bending the knees a little bit, getting a little bit deeper into each of the backs of the legs. But ultimately, we want to root down, pressing down through the backs of the heels. Our hands are about shoulder width apart, and our ears are positioned by our biceps here, by our arms. We want the arms to be nice and strong and straight, pressing up to the hips. And the hips are our highest point here up in the sky. Pressing up, and this allows for that low back to release and to lengthen. So taking a few deep breaths here. And then we can slowly bring our gaze up between the hands and just start to walk yourself up to that space. Nice and slowly. Now, because we're working on that low back, we want our feet to be about hip width apart still. And from here, we'll inhale nice and slow, come about halfway up, and then exhale back down towards the ground. Here, we'll grab the opposite elbows of the arms and just slowly move back and forth. This is my dog Mojo. He's very sweet. Anyway, so just move the body back and forth, and slowly this will let that low back release. So again, the hands are just holding on to those opposite elbows, and we're just letting the torso hang very, very passively here, and just letting the body go back and forth, loosening up that low spine. And then from here, we'll drop the hands and the elbows. If it's accessible for you, it's very nice to place those hands beneath the toes and just let the head hang. And whenever you're ready, we'll just slowly begin our inhales, and we're just going to come up super slow, just vertebrae by vertebrae, just coming up really slow, letting that low spine adjust, and then slowly coming up. We can roll those shoulders down away from our ears, pull the chest forward, shoulders down and back, crown of the head straight up towards the sky. You can bring the hands down by our sides. Put energy in the arms, meaning the arms are nice and strong here. Act as if someone's grabbing your wrists and pulling them down. Just standing very strong and solid, grounding into the earth. And taking a couple breaths here. From here, we're going to move into a warrior one. So we can breathe in, lifting the arms up nice and tall. Exhale down towards the ground. As we inhale, we'll bring the left leg back, and we're going to have the toes pointed at about a 45-degree angle out towards the side of our mat. And we will keep our right leg bent, and we're going to come up into our warrior one here. So we want to make sure that our hips are squared up towards this front part of our mat here. And we want to be pushing back through the outer edge of that left leg, pressing down through the heel, opening up the hip area here, which also helps open up our low back. So here we can bring the hands down. We can bring them up into a full warrior one here. Or if you'd like, you can bring the hands to a prayer position. Wherever you feel the most comfortable and the most stable. So we'll just take a few breaths here. Again, just lifting up tall through the spine. We're not crunching back into that low spine. We're lifting up nice and strong. Taking a couple breaths. And then on our next inhale, we'll breathe in and exhale those hands down. Bring the right leg back. And we can again do that chaturanga or the baby chaturanga where we bring knees, chest, and chin to the ground, and then up into that cobra, and then coming back into that downward facing dog. So tucking the toes, pressing back through the heels, lifting the hips up. You can walk the dog out or just alternate bending the knees. And then we're going to lift that left leg up and then exhale. Pull it through, plant it between the hands. We'll rotate that right leg just a little bit, or that right foot. Again, about a 45-degree angle out. And we'll come up into our warrior two on this side. So a nice deep bend in our left leg. We don't want that knee to surpass that ankle. It can be just stacked upon it. If we are surpassing it, we can scoot that foot up a little bit. So again, we're pressing back through the outer edge of that right back foot and lifting the arms up nice and steady, coming into that warrior two, or warrior one, I'm sorry. And just pressing down through the feet, anchoring down, lifting up through the spine, and taking those deep belly breaths. And taking those deep belly breaths. Here we'll lift up nice and tall through the hands. Exhale down towards the ground. We'll bring that right foot back, or the left foot back, into that chaturanga. This time we're going to bring the knees down. We'll bring the big toes together, and we're going to come back into a child's pose. So we just press those hands forward, let the head come down, let the forehead touch the floor if that's possible, and take a couple deep breaths here. You can let that belly come down through the legs. And again, this is a great one for elongating the spine and loosening that low back. A few deep breaths. And whenever you're ready, you can start to walk your hands back up towards you. And from here, we're going to come onto the hands and knees. We'll come back into that down dog. We'll walk our feet up towards our hands. Inhale halfway up, extending the spine out. Exhale down to the ground. Inhale, lifting those arms all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. From here, we're going to open up to the long side of our mat. And this will be our last pose to wrap up our low back quickie series. So here we're just going to take as wide of stance as is comfortable. I always feel like that's a tongue twister. But a nice wide stance. We want to root down through the outer edge of those feet. And here we're just going to take a deep breath in, lifting the arms up. And as we exhale, we'll come down towards the ground. We want to keep a nice straight spine and gently come down. So here again, we can grab onto those opposite elbows and we can just move back and forth, nice and slow, side to side. And this one's a really great one to release that low back tension. You can also get a little creative here and like walk the hands around to each side, whatever feels best for you. But again, just trying to do that pendulum motion and really just letting the weight of our torso elongate the spine and naturally let gravity do its job. So again, I encourage you to stay here as long as is comfortable. And whenever you are ready, you can slowly inhale and just come about halfway up. Exhale back down. And then you can inhale nice and slow again, halfway up. And then you can plant those hands down and we'll just come down into a seated position. And feel free to do whatever else you need to do, like a forward fold or wide-legged pose or anything else that you need, meditation, breathing, what have you. Thank you for being here. I hope your low back thanks you. And I will see you next time. Make sure you hit subscribe and I'll see you soon. Peace, my friends.